Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. Oh my goodness, we're starting off with this picture of Johnny again. Oh, Johnny. All right, once again, we have a lot of small stories. We're cobbling them together so we can discuss what's going on. And then we have the one big story. You guys really need to get into this. Let's just jump in with both feet. Let's get there, shall we? Let's go. We're starting off with this morning, letting everybody know that on September 28th, the Princess of Wales, who is the joint patron of the Royal Foundation of the Prince and Princess of Wales, met with Miss Amanda Berry, who is the chief executive of the Royal Foundation. You see, they are completely transparent with their money, what comes in, what goes out. Yeah, love it. Okay, next. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, also went to the Royal Navy Ships Company of HMS Glasgow, learning more about their roles and, what they're doing out in the water. Tell me that she does not look amazing without telling me that she looks amazing, as usual. God, so jealous of her hair. Moving on. The Countess of Wessex Sophie went today to the cadets, and she met a Lord Lieutenant cadet for Hampshire in one of his final duties in his tenure in that honor. I think that's very nice. I just love her. Then she changed into camouflage gear and she made her first visit to the Royal Electric and Mechanical Engineer headquarters since she became the Colonel-in-Chief, which is a role that had been held by Prince Philip. During her visit, she met with officers and soldiers at the Defense School of Electronic and Mechanical Engineering and the School of Army Aeronautical Engineering. She observed a vehicle recovery exercise and watched a display on how the technical training received is translated into operational effect. I think that's pretty cool. She also unveiled a plaque announcing a new name for the REME Technical Workshop and Offices, the Countess of Wessex Lines. That's pretty cool. And here's a picture of her from March, from when she officially received that title. All right, moving on. Next up, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, went to the Specialty Riding Center Charity Day. She joined Riding for the Disabled as its patron in 1971 and became the president in 1985. All right, here's a little video of her arriving. Watch this. So it looks like a fabulous charity. She's been the president and, for how many years? And she's been involved with it for how many years? I just think that's wonderful. That's why they call her the no-nonsense royal. She gets in there. She does her job. She loves what she does. She's representing the family, and I think she's doing a great job. All right, we're going to move on to our next story. Windsor Castle is reopening since the death of the Queen. People were lined up to try to get tickets way before the ticket thing was even open. Here's a little video for you. Watch this. That is absolutely one of the places that I will be going to the second I'm able to get to the UK. All right, moving on. And by the way, for those who are interested, you also now can visit the Queen's final resting place in St. George's Chapel. Again, another place I will absolutely be stopping into when I make it to the UK. Just also as an FYI, the Queen's cause of death has just been revealed as old age. So all of these things that are floating around, I think it was, don't quote me on this, I believe it was Lady C who said that she actually had bone cancer and she knew she was dying and she wanted to die at Windsor, so she stayed there. That's not listed on her death certificate. She did not have bone cancer. She died of old age at 3:10 in the afternoon. And now that this information has been released and her death certificate has actually been released, let the conspiracy theorists begin. Because nobody's ever just going to read it and go, okay, she was 96. No, they're going to be digging for something else. Crazy. All right, moving on. All right, really quickly, Prince Harry's libel lawsuit. He's been accused of, quote unquote, flouting a court protocol in the way he filed the libel suit against the UK tabloid in the response to the newspaper's lawyers. Let's not forget he's suing the Mail on Sunday for defamation over an article that said that he publicly misrepresented the basis of a separate lawsuit he had lodged against the UK government. And now the newspaper is accusing Harry of ignoring guidelines for filing media lawsuits and describing his lawyers' accounts of events as a travesty. What's being said is that the Mail on Sunday accused Harry of creating the impression that the lawsuit filed against the government was aimed at enabling him to pay for a police team, when Home Office lawyers suggested the offer was not made to them in the initial stages of the dispute. Harry's libel complaint said that the newspaper's lawyers had been baseless and offensive in an email that accused him of self-declared a battle with anyone in the media who dares to publish anything about him which is less than flattering, which absolutely is true. Harry's lawyer said the newspaper's response to his complaint was contemptuous. And that same day, the newspaper replied with what the Duke's lawyers described as a holding response, but hadn't followed up with any further communication after that. Guys, what this comes down to is it's a media lawsuit. So the Mail on Sunday is supposed to have 14 days to respond, and Harry wanted a full response in 3 working days, and that's just not how it works. Once again, entitlement issues. Oof. All right, moving on. All right, another quick Harry story. It's now being revealed that he got on his plane to Scotland 2 hours after the Queen died at Balmoral. So he spent so much time fighting with Meghan. Remember that he missed the flight he was supposed to be on. And so by the time he, got there, it was too late. And I said it before and I'll say it again. He wouldn't have had to have rushed and he wouldn't have missed anything if he had accepted the Queen's invitation, which had come 3 days before and which he blew off. He could have gone. He missed his last chance to see his grandmother with his attitude, his haughty attitude. He missed it. Just like he missed his last chance to speak to his mother. I don't get it. You'd think he would have learned something, but all right. Moving on. All right, you guys, finally, Trevity Trev, as Meghan used to call him, has finally decided he's going to release a book. Oh, this ought to be good, and I'll be the first one buying it. You know, her divorcing him was probably the best thing that ever happened to him. He married somebody who's worth 10 times as much as Harry is. All right, move on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this story really got to me. As you can see, Pop Bass got this from a book that was recently written, and it says that Prince George reportedly warned his classmates who are on the bad side that his father is going to be king one day, so look out, okay? So that information came from this article, and this article came from the book that was written. And let me tell you, the family is very upset. They're saying that none of that ever happened, that it's a lie. So, of course, the Sussex squad, the ones that are saying kids are off limits, don't talk about the kids, they attacked with some of the most disgusting tweets you've ever seen. Here's a few for you. Seriously, I mean, could you imagine writing that kind of stuff about a 9-year-old boy? I mean, that shows their mental, where they are mentally, what they think is appropriate behavior. No wonder they follow Christopher Boozy around. This is some of the most disgusting, horrible stuff you could write about a child. Like, I I don't even know what to say. It's horrid. It's beyond horrid. And this last one that's about to come up with the gun, really? Death threat to a 9-year-old. How shameful can you get? So this entire thing was started by royal correspondent Katie Nicholl. It's her reporting that triggered this knuckle-dragging Sussex Squad foot soldiers, which resulted in all those horrible threats and tweets. She's completely responsible. So, of course, people are asking if the article violated the IPSO regulations. Now, for those of you who are unaware what that is, it is the editor's code of practice that sets out rules that newspapers and magazines have agreed to follow. It's written and administered by the editor's code committee and enforced by IPSO. So let's just assume for 1 second, and I don't believe it, but let's just assume that it's true, okay? As you can see, it says editors are expected to justify intrusions into their private lives without consent, especially when you consider an individual's reasonable expectation of privacy. It talks about the kids have the right not to be photographed in public. They must not be approached at school without permission. Children under 16 may not be interviewed or photographed on issues involving their own or another child's welfare unless a custodial parent consents to it. I don't think Kate and William consented because they're saying the report is untrue. So, of course, Katie Nichols now is feeling the backlash, and she's put up a little tweet, and she's saying, it was just a lighthearted comment, not intended to upset anyone. William used to say something similar when he was a little boy. The children are covered in a very sensitive way throughout the book because now people are threatening to boycott her book because she put this in there. Yeah, you can't gaslight people. I completely agree with what Angel here wrote on Twitter. What a coincidence that William said it when he was little. So basically, she just assumed that George said it too. Yeah, fantasy fiction to sell her books. Not very good. And now people want to know, where's her source? Where did this come from? Isn't this an ethical violation? I completely agree. I'm going to sound very stupid and old-fashioned, but I miss the old way of doing things sometimes in the old days where when people reported, they reported the truth and they left children out of it. They left children alone. And you know what I mean? Things back in the olden days when you could trust what you were reading in books and you could trust what you were reading in the papers. It's also being alleged now that she's the one who hired people to hack William and Catherine's cell phones and publish illegally obtained stories. And they're saying boycott her book. Don't buy it. And I have no intention of buying it. I think that's terrible. All right, we're going to end again with Mr. Boozy, the professional businessman who is evading being served for lawsuits by not coming out of his house and calling the police on the process servers. The tweet above about the media outlets and YouTubers need to start sending Meghan Markle a monthly check because they are clearly living off of her. And I have to agree with what Karen Cartwright wrote. He's living off of her. He is. He's getting money. He's getting money from the Sussex Squad. He never reports them, but they're making money off their YouTube videos and stuff. I mean, pot, kettle, black. Now, this other tweet of his just really gets me. If you attempt to cause someone reputational harm, don't play the victim when the person responds with copious amounts of receipts. You'll lose hundreds of followers overestimating your clout. And then he writes at the bottom, be better. Again, this is a man who has how many followers on Twitter? And every time he does a poll or a post, he only gets like 1,000 likes. If you have 100,000 followers, you get more than that. All right, you guys. Once again, lots and lots and lots of information, and I would love your thoughts. Personally, just to say, I'm very happy to see everybody out and about again and doing their thing. I really enjoy seeing all the royals out doing their jobs. But I would love to know what you think about that whole controversy and about the threats that the Sussex Squad are putting up to a 9-year-old boy, and the fact that that lady wrote that book and put it in there, and come to find out it probably never even happened. I know, right? Crazy. So make sure to leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget you could follow me on Twitter, Getter, Rumble. You could email me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through my thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.